Hello, everybody. It is I, Cool, and welcome back to Take It Back Tuesday. Man, it's so good doing the series again. It's only been around for 2 seasons so far, but you know, it's just fun going back and re-reviewing cars that I haven't actually covered on the channel yet, or cars that I haven't really taken a look at in a while. This month in particular, I've been focusing on making reviews of items that are, significant to me as a Cars fan. And to me, Otis is one of the most impactful items, kind of. Otis stood out to me a lot for some reason when I was younger. I always just really liked how the diecast looked. I always liked his little shy smile. I liked the fact that he was about the size of how Fred should be. And I started collecting back in 2022, and Otis was one of the most hotly anticipated re-releases of that year. By that point, his last release was 2015, I think, or 2016. He had not seen the light of day in a while. Actually, no. Otis's last release was actually 2018 in a very obscure 3-pack with regular Mater and artist Ramon. The green Ramon from Cars 2 that appears at the beginning of the movie. I unfortunately don't have that one. I do have Radiator Springs Ramon, though. I do intend to get artist Ramon at some point. He is a pretty iconic Ramon. But I mainly wanted Otis. I was just super excited for Otis, and I never found his Thailand variant. Yeah, for whatever reason, 2022 Otis was one of the rarest items from that year. 2022 is kind of infamous because now a lot of its re-releases have been retreaded, and Otis is one of the ones that got criticism for coming back a couple times after 2022. I believe he first came back in 2024 in the first 3 cases of the year. And he also came back in 2025 briefly, but I only ever saw his 2024 Thailand variant, never his 2022 or 2025 single. And as you can see, this is not a Thailand Otis. This is a made in China Otis from 2016. So the story behind this is that I really wanted to find Otis, but I simply couldn't. And this was one of those cars where I kind of broke and just ordered it online. But to be fair, I kind of prefer how the China version of Otis looks. I do want to get the Thailand one at some point. Well, actually, maybe if they re-release Otis again, which they might, given, again, their, sort of desire to jump back to the 2022 re-releases. I think we'll probably see Otis again soon. But I got Otis. Ironically, I got Otis alongside Lizzie, who I did not have at that point. I didn't have all the Radiator Springs Townies until 2025. And I honestly kind of include Otis as one of the Townies. I feel like he is a part of Radiator Springs, even though I don't think he officially is. It's a weird situation with Otis. But I am happy to be reviewing him here today. Just super excited to take a look at Otis again. I genuinely really love this item. So Otis, of course, appears in Cars 2. He is a lemon. He is a car that, constantly breaks down, and Mater has to constantly pick him up off the side of the road. Otis actually wasn't originally part of the movie. Originally, the opening of Cars 2 was going to have Mater build a shrine to Lightning McQueen. Yes, you heard me right. Mater was going to build an entire, shrine to McQueen. But I believe it was after a family car ride that Nancy Last Tire suggested the idea of Otis being incorporated to sort of establish what a lemon is for people who aren't really, knowledgeable on what a car is. And so, yeah, that's how Otis was born, I guess. It's really funny because, again, Otis is just I don't know. I really like his cuboid shape. I like how, I like his shade of blue. I like his expression. It's a very calm expression. Got nice blue eyes here. Not blue eyes, blue paint job, brown eyes. He's got a lot of rust pattern. He's very glossy. which isn't very accurate. I think Otis is supposed to be like a matte finish, but they went for this glossy sort of paint job. The Thailand version does change that though, so that's good to know. Of course, here's Otis's grill. He has the mouth. He has this nice silver bumper. Limited. Otis is based on a character from an old TV show. I don't remember the name, but he was named after Otis the town drunkard. And so that's where they got the idea to name him Otis. Otis is just a super underrated name. Like, it's so cool. The guy from Barnyard. Over here is his wheel. Otis is one of the few cars diecast to have connected axles rather than, free wheel axles. Like, one wheel can turn independently from the other. It's not employed on a lot of cars diecast. I kind of wish it was, but I kind of get why they don't. But it's just, I don't know. I personally prefer this system. I feel like it's a lot less easy for the car to break. Whereas, a car with, the separate axles like Boost over here, one of his wheels can just be completely bent, and it's just really unfortunate. But I guess that's not entirely true. If you guys remember my Pit Crew Mac video, he has connected wheels, and he still has trouble rolling, so. Grass is always greener on the other side. I love Otis's sort of dark spots here. I made a joke about Otis from Barnyard, but it does kind of remind me of a cow spots. Oh yeah, he has one of his doors just completely replaced with this darker blue door that's really funny. It's really cool. I like that one of his hubcaps is just completely missing. So this is what it looks like underneath, or maybe he bought a separate hubcap. No, I think this is what his rims normally look like, and these are hubcaps that he got for himself, and yeah, one of them just fell off. We've seen this detail before on cars like Vern, but it's really interesting to see on Otis. Over here is the mirror. I believe the mirrors are the mirrors bent? No, they're not. Obviously, mine's a bit chipped up because mine was a loose copy. I would have loved to have gotten him on the 2011, 2012 card, even though Otis was only released in 2012. 2011 was just the first 6 diecast. So if you see a number 27 to, I believe, Cars 2 went up to 50 singles. Yeah, 50. If you see a car with 27 or higher, then that is a 2012 diecast. Over here is the back 06, 05, 062, which I believe was the birth date of his voice actor. Oh, that was this month. It's a shame. I don't think I mentioned it. That's unfortunate. Over here, you can see Otis. So Otis, this is kind of funny. So Otis is actually just named after the car brand that he is. Well, actually, Otis is a Shyster Kremlin, I believe. No. Was that him or was that... Because I know Shyster is the same company that made Chick Hicks canonically. So these two are related somehow, and that's really funny to me. Because, these do not... when you look at these do not correlate. Of course, Otis has been compared many, many times to Fred from the first Cars movie. And as you can see here, Fred is just minuscule compared to Otis. Ironically, in 2022, we also got updated Fred, who is a bit more size accurate. Unfortunately, I never found the updated Fred. I ended up just getting the small Fred back in 2023 alongside Raw Torque Redlines variants, and it was Nutty with oil cans, but just the Nutty diecast, not the entire pack, which came with lug and the oil can accessories, which is really unfortunate because that is genuinely one of the most underrated diecasts in the entire toy line. I mean, we don't get enough appreciation for lug and Nutty with oil cans. Anyways, back to... So yeah, you can see the model was definitely inspired by Fred, but it's not exact. Obviously, Fred's whole gimmick is his mouth is on the bumper. They chose not to do that with Otis. Yeah, the mirrors are a bit different. And Otis has this whole sort of vinyl top in the back. I wonder what that's supposed to, resemble, because I've never seen, a vinyl top go, halfway like this. Usually it goes up to here. It never goes, over here, so I don't know what that whole deal is. It's very odd. But yeah, Otis is one of my personal favorite items I own. He's one that I always think about fondly, even if I don't think I use him too much in stuff. I think I used to use him in skits early on, in like a couple years ago when I started my channel. I would love to do more stuff with Otis at some point. I just really like Otis. He's just such a fun little car. I think it's just I like his boxiness and I like his size because I like Fred. I like that Fred in the diecast line is just this tiny little thing. But I really like, the sort of I like that Otis is like this larger car. I think that's cool. Unfortunately, I don't have my Mater with working tow hook out, so I can't demonstrate, but I think you can still tow Otis China if you have a new Mater with working tow hook. Yeah, I believe you can. It's not as easy because I know 2022 Otis came with the little base holes. I think that's probably why they brought back Otis, is because, hey, wait, Otis is a character that Mater tows constantly. We should probably give him the base holes. Because, we didn't think to give Mater a working tow hook for years, and it's just really funny that it took them this long to be like, oh yeah, wait, Otis. Yeah, it was Otis, Road Repair McQueen, and Damaged King, which I actually own all three of them now. That's pretty crazy. So yeah, I don't have much more to say on Otis. He's just a really fun, just like niche sort of item. Even though he did get accused of, being released a lot, he actually didn't peg warm, which is interesting. Again, I only found his single in 2024 like once ever. I think it was the same day I found Vusine Racing Tractor, so I think that was a fresh case, meaning that Otis clearly sells well. Like, people clearly want and care about Otis. Maybe if he comes back, maybe he'll do even better or something, I don't know. Because they have been doing a lot of Cars 2 re-releases, and I've heard those are doing good as well compared to like the Cars 3 re-releases. Like Chris Roman, the next gen that hasn't been out since like 2018 as a single, is peg warming, but Finn and Holly just like disappear. So I think that's a good sign for Cars 2 releases. I think that's another reason I like Otis. He's such a Cars 2 item. Anyways, I should probably wrap this up. Anyways, that's all I have for today. Hope you all enjoyed the review, and I shall see you all around. Bye-bye!